Hey everybody, Plasma 1945, getting my MiG-29 ready for takeoff, loading up with a couple of ETs, a couple of 77s, and a couple of 73s, all fire and forget missiles of different varieties, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and shoot down some bandits. But there is a hit with 177 that almost took out two F-18s flying in formation. So let's get going here. And as the engines are starting up, I do want to call out Matt and Afonso, who both subscribed and won an F-18 and a MiG-21 module. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Let's taxi out and really quickly talk about this flight. So this is just after server restart. There was about 10 people on the blue team. There was about 4 people on the red team. Nobody else from my squad was on. So what I did is I jumped on and decided to go solo. Engines are starting up. You're going to notice a very interesting thing at takeoff here on the MiG-29, and that is the dampener did not fully align. Now what the dampener does is it actually prevents your airplane from doing a very unpleasant pitch and bump during takeoff. And you'll see it here as I pull out and as I take off. The dampener is a light on the left bottom line of lights inside the airplane. And here we're going for a takeoff, and you'll see the weird bump happening as I pull up here. And as the plane pitches up, usually dampener will take about 30 seconds to a minute to start up, and if you didn't properly start it up, your plane will do that. It'll bounce up and down on the spot just a little bit during takeoff. It'll level out, but forget that. Let's go shoot down some bandits. So flying low, listening to Brock calls, trying to get into the Beslan area without getting shot down. There's almost nobody from my team flying, and that's what the F10 map is for. If you've got a server that has an active map, especially on Growling Sidewinder, look at the map. It'll tell you if you're about to shoot down a friendly or not. Alright, so in the valley, heading up north, again, listening to Brock calls. The 29 does not have data link. Hopefully the new 29 that apparently is in the works will get data link. But for now, let's blast along the valley. The important thing is to keep an eye on your RWR and make sure that the hostiles are not lighting you up. Now, RWR is telling me there are hostiles coming in from somewhere on my left and to the north around 11 o'clock. And I'm just sneaking along here, getting ready to drop my fuel tank. There it goes. I'm within 40 kilometers. That's about 20 nautical miles of the hostiles. So let's start looking for them. Switching to thermal vertical scan and thermal BVR. Looking for these hostiles. They should be popping up somewhere in front of me. And there we go. We've got lock. Hostile traveling at an altitude of 11 kilometers. That's about 33,000 feet. Knowing that the hostile is that high, let's get some speed and get up right up there to the hostile. I've got the R77 selected. I'm watching as the arrow creeps down along the left side of my HUD as I get within range. I'm right now within no escape range, and then I go for the launch, and there goes the R77. I went as quick as I could and picked up as much speed as I could during this climb because these guys were contrailing. And this is where it's actually interesting. Do you see that? I hit 2 planes with 1 missile. Just for good measure, I sent another R73 up there, but I think I could have gotten 2 splashes with 1 missile here. So let's check this out. Instant replay. Climbing up, getting ready to launch the R77, full burner, right towards the single contrail. 77 starts burning, flying right towards the hostiles. And what it is, it's a 2-ship of F-18s fully loaded with 20 AIM-120s between them. Boom. Just for good measure, I did send an R-73, which caught up and took out the second plane. No getting away from 2 missiles from a MiG-29. Those F-18s have seen better days. They are going down. I climbed up quite high to almost 21,000, so now I hit back the deck and go back into sneak mode. Again, always paying attention to my bogey dopes and my bra calls, and look at that, another set of contrails right above me. Again, full thrust. If you're going for an intercept, you want as much energy in your missile as possible. Got the hostile locked. I'm down to ET. There she goes. ET's climbing right for the target. And it's a miss. 73 launched and going evasive. That is an F-14, and he actually launched an AIM-54 at me. You'll see that in the replay. That's a hell of a mess of flares and chaff. I did not get hit, and going in for a merge. Once you hear the beep of radar lock, you could probably get shot at, so always be aware. Going for a merge. AIM-9 flies underneath me. And Flying Fungus has evaded me. Alright, we're going to some sort of scissors here. Fungus is trying to extend for me. But he is not getting away from my HUD. Keeping him right in the HUD, not letting him get out. Gunshots. His right stabilizer is damaged. And his left engine is hit. Goodbye, Mr. Fungus. And just for good measure, I still have a 77 on my wing. But that was very lucky. I dodged an AIM-9 and a Phoenix, and he dodged an ET and a 73. Let's take a look at this one more time in replay. Alright, here's the ET cam, and there is Flying Fungus right above me. Long Range Fox 2. Looks like she's tracking pretty well. I'm guessing that Jester called out a missile launch. Fungus launches a Phoenix right at me. The Phoenix is flying right on the side of me. Misses me. And he's going right into a dive. The Phoenix is just behind my plane. They're hitting the ground. Bleeding off energy, dropping down, and keeping an eye on Fungus. Can't let that Tomcat get away and pop a couple of shots on me. He should have a couple of AIM-9s. There's the first AIM-9. Passes right underneath me. Merged. No hits. He's not getting away from my 30mm cannon. Mr. Fungus, it's always a pleasure doing business with you. Voila, and there you have it. Flying Fungus has been shot down. I've expended 5 missiles, shot down 3 planes. I probably could have saved an extra missile if the first one had connected the way it did. It looks like it actually did do damage to that second F-18, and quite considerable damage too. I will never know, but all I can do now is try to make a nice landing here back at Tbilisi. Again, if you've got an open F10 map, use that F10 map. Put your plane into a nice level position and pull up the map and look at the runway. See who's taking off, see who's landing, and how busy is the pattern. You can also use chat to tell your team that you're coming in for a landing, and you can request a landing from the ATC as well. Some helpful tips to prevent you from crashing into a friendly as you come in for a landing on Growling Sidewinder, or any server for that matter. Alright, sun visor up, trying to slow down a little bit. So far, I have not had too many successful landings in the 29. Its minimal landing speed is fairly low, but you need to be going pretty fast so that you don't fall out of the sky. And you end up in this, very touchy, balanced environment, because you have to have at least 300 kilometers an hour to come into the ground, but you have to be under 300 kilometers an hour so you don't blow your tires, and so that you've got some control here. So as I'm coming down here, there is a Kia P50 first VVS guy on taxi, so I made sure to let him know that I'm coming in. The 29 is a very finicky plane when it comes down to touching down and landing. You got to keep that in mind, so when you are approaching the airbase, pop your flaps, drop your gear only when you are fairly close so that you're not going to fall out of the sky. The trick is that if you are coming in to land, you need to be at about 320 kilometers an hour so that you don't fall out of the sky. But you need to be below 300 kilometers an hour when you land. So you literally have about 10 meters of altitude in which you need to deal with a speed difference of about 50 kilometers. So here, just before touching down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my nose and flare. This allowed me to bleed off some speed, and I touched down at 310. I did pop one of my tires. I popped up my right tire, but it is better than the landings I've had before. So there you have it, everybody. Safely touched down with splashing 3 hostiles, and one of them was, well, a gun kill and a maneuver kill, but the other 2 were with a 77. So let me know if you've ever had a situation where you've had 1 missile take out 2 bandits. And if you've had that experience, what missile were you using and who did you shoot down? All right, have a great day, everybody. Fly safe, and I'll see you online. Plasma 1945 and Red Star Squad signing off. And you should definitely subscribe because we've had a couple of winners of a MiG-21 and an F-18 module. That was Matt and Afonso. So again, congrats to them, and get these subscriptions and likes going.